Okay, hi. It's Dr. Sandhu here from Bedford Chiropractic Clinic. I've got the pleasure of having a very special guest with me today. It's Delia Rosenboom, who's a close friend and a colleague of mine. And what I want to do in this video with Delia's help is share with you something that I'm really excited about. It's called bioresonance, and Delia will explain all of this to you in a lot more detail and better than I can. So let me, without any hesitation, introduce Delia. So Delia, just tell us a little bit about your background, what you do, and then obviously we'll go into explanation of sort of bioresonance.
So hi everybody, I'm Delia Rosenboom and I've been an alternative health practitioner for about 35 years. And over the last few years I've got involved with bioresonance, which has added a fantastic extra depth to the kind of mind, body, emotional, energetic work that I've been doing with clients. So I'm super excited to be able to share a little bit about this amazing technology with you.
Fantastic. So for sort of people that are unaware of what bioresonance is, just a very sort of brief explanation idea of what it is, what is it based on?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, we're working with frequency to heal the body and to change energy levels and immunity and to detox everything that we don't need. So often when people try to better their health or make changes or to detox, there's some involvement of either really complicated regimes with diet and tinctures and herbs and goodness knows what, or there's a toxic load from drugs. Obviously, a lot of people go to the doctor and any drugs they're given will have side effects and will leave some toxic trace within their body. So what I absolutely love with bioresonance is we're simply working with frequency. And what's more, we're working with the frequencies that our body already has, because every cell, every organ, every body system within us has its own low-level electromagnetic frequency of oscillation. And that needs to be a healthy, strong frequency of oscillation. And when we become stressed or tired or ill, or we pick up pathogens or toxins of some sort, that frequency gets lowered and our organs become weakened, and then we begin to experience symptoms. So by playing the frequencies of our healthy cells and our healthy organs back into the body, which is completely harmless, there's no side effects to this. You don't feel anything, there's no sound or vibration or anything that you feel. But nevertheless, if you use a tiny little bioresonance device to play the frequencies of your body back into your body, your cells, your organs, depending on what you're trying to return to better health, will recognize their own frequency, join in with it, and return to a healthy, strong frequency of oscillation. And what's more, if you're trying to detox, so say you have a parasite or you have candida or you have some mold or fungi or something in your body that isn't doing you any good, or heavy metal, you can play the frequency of that pathogen into your body at a slightly amplified rate, and that will have the effect of killing, destroying, and then eliminating that pathogen. So it's a really amazing technology, very, very simple, absolutely side effect free. And it's been around many, many years with an awful lot of research and scientific data and clinical trials behind it. So it's not a new thing or a kind of woo-woo, airy-fairy thing. It's absolutely grounded in science and data.
No, absolutely. And I think sort of even sort of in when I was doing sort of A-level physics, I mean, I heard about frequencies and obviously quantum physics is a branch of sort of physics that actually deals with how everything vibrates at sort of an atomic level and then creates a frequency of its own. So what you're saying then is sort of every cell in our body has its own unique frequency, and then when these cells sort of get together to form an organ or a tissue, then that has its own frequency as well. Would that be right?
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
heart, for instance, has a frequency of 7.83 hertz.
Right.
So if we want to support the heart, if the heart's struggling, we want to support it, we will simply play 7.83 hertz back into the heart, and the heart will recognize its own frequency and start strengthening itself to come back to that frequency in a positive, beneficial way.
Okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, so every organ sort of has its own frequency. As you said, the heart sort of has a frequency, as does every other organ. And then what you also said was you mentioned sort of fungus, bacteria, I mean, horrible things. And you're saying that we could actually have these inside us.
Yeah, absolutely. As human beings, obviously, we're living in situations that aren't completely pure and clean. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the environment around us, the exhaust fumes from cars, etc., give us a lot of toxins, a lot of pollutants, pesticides, etc. And we go through our lives unknowingly, breathing in or picking up through our skin all sorts of pollutants and toxins or pathogens. We've seen with the whole COVID thing, we were told constantly, wash your hands for how many seconds it was, because it was so easy to pick up unknowingly the virus on your hands. And so it is with so many pathogens. Or heavy metals. Many people have mercury fillings, or they've had mercury fillings removed, and there's always some escape of the mercury, and that mercury sits in the body and potentially wreaks havoc. And it's very difficult to A, know that we have these things, and B, know how to get rid of them. But by playing the frequencies of these things that we don't want back into the body at a slightly amplified rate, they simply are destroyed, broken down, and eliminated through the drainage pathways of the body. And personally, I've had amazing success, having spent a couple of decades trying to detox my rather high mercury levels.
Yes.
Getting nowhere. I spent literally thousands of pounds doing, you name it, I will have done it. I tried everything. It didn't make much difference at all. But after 3 months of working with the detox device, my mercury levels, and I know this because of the bioresonance scans that I've been having that show the levels of mercury, they've just come right down to nothing. It's amazing.
Wow.
And
Wow.
absolutely easy and simple.
No, absolutely. And on a personal level, how has that made you feel? How has your health been?
My health over the last year and a bit, how many months I've been working with these little devices, has hugely changed. My energy levels have improved, my resilience and coping power has improved, my hair that was grayer has become browner, all sorts of little issues I have or had have cleared up. Lots and lots of things have changed, which has been fantastic. And of course, the mercury's come down. My personal cocktail of different toxins and pathogens that I've had have been disappearing with each scan I have and with each program that I'm given. So it's been really fantastic.
Okay. So just to sort of obviously sort of get some clarification in my own head. So every sort of single cell has its own frequency, organs have their own frequency, and then we have these toxins, these microorganisms, which have their own frequency as well. So the idea is to sort of feed the body with the, for example, if it's mercury, to feed the body with a mercury frequency, which then you're saying sort of breaks it down, dissipates it, and allows the body to sort of get rid of it. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that work? I mean, obviously, sort of if you're putting a frequency into the body, does it not affect sort of other cells, or is it specific just to that particular frequency?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the wonderful thing, and this is what makes bioresonance so incredibly safe for people to use, regardless of age or background, that the frequency you play will only affect the organ or the cell or the part of the body that has that same frequency. So if I unknowingly put on my bioresonance device and I clicked the wrong program, so it was playing a frequency I didn't need, it wouldn't do me any harm. It would just go through me and nothing would happen. This is one of the wonderful things that, for instance, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife, who's often considered one of the founders of bioresonance, he was just actually one of many. But one of the things he discovered was that you can play the frequency of a parasite or a pathogen of some sort into it, and it will destroy that, because it will destroy the thing that has the exact same frequency. But the surrounding healthy tissue of the body won't be affected at all. It's quite fascinating that there's zero toxic load and no harm for anything other than the pathogen you're wanting to get rid of.
No, that's amazing. And I believe you've got sort of a little video that you could share with us.
Yes, I've got this. It's about 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to show you a little video of some single cell organelles floating around on a slide under a microscope that's been enlarged. I think it's 30 times. I can't remember, but we'll see in a minute.
Okay.
And then we're going to have the device, which you won't see, the AP device, which is the detox device, playing the frequency of those single cells into them. And we're going to see in the beginning, they're all wriggly and alive. And then one by one, they slow down and then they literally explode. They spill their guts and they die. And what the device would then do, having destroyed these organisms, is to break them down and flush them out. So the waste products would be removed. We won't see that happening, but we'll see in real time. So in 1.5 minutes, we're going to see a slide full of wriggling single cell organelles give up the ghost and die. So let me share my screen.
Amazing.
Bear with me while I
no, of course.
while I find this. Here we go. Now, can you let me just make that bigger? Here we go. Let's play this. So here are the little paramycium single cells. They're magnified 80 times, and you can see them wriggling around quite happily there. Life going on quite normally for them. But watch carefully, because there's one here beginning to slow down. And let's see what happens. There's one up here. Oh, and that one down there. Can you see that one's exploding, the bottom right? And this one up here at the top is also spilling its insides. And this one in the middle here, near the top's also beginning to explode. And this one on the right now is exploding. And this one underneath as well. So you can see they kind of come to a standstill and then they kind of empty themselves and die. There's another one at the top there now doing the same. You can see there's far less wriggling around now. There's this wriggly one beginning to slow down. One at the bottom, spilling itself. And now the slide's being moved around, looking for other signs of life. Everything's quite still. And here's one more, big one. Still wriggling around a little bit. Beginning to slow down. And here we go. Beginning to give up the ghost. So this is a slide full of single cells that in the space of a minute or minute and a half have found their end.
Wow. Wow. And
that's just an example.
No, amazing. And that sort of research was done in 2003, sort of in that lab.
Whatever it said at the front of the
square,
slide.
square wave research. Okay, fantastic. So I mean that looks incredible. So I suppose it's the idea of sort of, you know, with the opera singers sort of singing and the glass sort of shattering. Is that sort of similar idea where there's a sort of,
that's a really good,
reaching.
Yeah, it's a great example of what we've just seen in the slide that some of you may have experienced or seen in a physics lesson or so. If you had a glass, and glass has its own resonant frequency, and you were to sing a note that had the same frequency as the glass, if you or I were to sing that note, probably nothing would happen to the glass. But if we hired an opera singer and they came in and kind of really powerfully sang that note, the glass is likely to shatter because the frequency of the glass has been sung into it at an amplified rate. You know, my voice wouldn't be powerful enough to shatter the glass, but an opera singer's would. That's what we've effectively seen happening with those little cells just now. And you can imagine if you're someone and you have a candida overgrowth and you had a little bioresonance device, they look like this. So it's smaller than my hand. So if you had the detox device that looks like this, and you played the candida program every day for 2 or 3 months, then every day the candida growth would be being gradually killed. And obviously in one application, just in one day, you're not going to kill the entire candida growth that's taken weeks or months or even years to grow. But if you did that every day consistently for 2 or 3 months, you'd gradually work away at reducing the candida until it had all gone. And
Amazing.
I've had people who have been ill in bed for over a year with candida overgrowths, unable to walk. And through using this for a few months, they've completely got rid of the candida and got out of bed and got on with their lives. So it is quite spectacular.
No, fantastic. That was actually going to be my next question was obviously you've experienced this and been using sort of this particular equipment and this sort of treatment method for over a year and a half or so. Just give us a little bit of sort of idea of sort of what kind of patients have come through and what kind of benefits they've had, please.
Yeah, so there have been all sorts of wonderful things that I've seen happen, some with acute conditions and some with more chronic.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if we think of the shorter term things, the devices have helped a lot of people bounce back after things like COVID, when they've been really depleted and brain foggy and low energy, and the devices have just bounced them back. We've had people coming in with long COVID who have worked with the devices for a few months and they've cleared it in a shorter space of time. We've had people with using the devices to prevent catching COVID, to prevent catching coughs and colds. And we've had people with certainly over the winter, all those sort of winter bugs who have either prevented themselves from catching them or who have kind of bonked them on the head at the first signs of getting them. So that's been great to have families just not giving each other all these bugs. We've had people with fungal toenail infections who've tried everything over a number of years to get rid of them, and it hasn't worked, but with the frequencies it has. We've had people with skin conditions clearing up. We've had people with digestive issues clearing up. We've had a lot of thyroid issues, people coming with have been brought back into better balance. We have a lot of people coming who've got quite long-term nasty things like cancer, Parkinson's, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, ME, these sorts of things. And what I've seen is that it's work in progress. People come, they come every 3 months and have a scan with the bioresonance doctor, and he remakes the programs, and I see their progress every 3 months. So it's not as if I can say after 3 months they're cured, but each time I see them that they come back, they've improved, and they mention things are feeling easier or better. So that's work in progress, and we'll see what happens in the long run. But it's been quite fascinating seeing the changes. Eczema, we've had various kind of reflux and digestion things as a result of Helicobacter pylori. Candida I've mentioned. Black mold, we've had people with black mold in their lungs being cleared.
Wow.
Inflammatory illnesses, all sorts of bits and pieces.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So obviously it's sort of there's a whole variety of conditions. I mean, and as you said, you know, we can't claim that we're curing them, but we have seen some massive improvements. You've certainly seen some massive improvements in these people, and it's actually been shown when they've had a rescan that there has been an improvement. Now, talking of scans, tell us a little bit about firstly, sort of what is a scan? Where did it start? What's the idea of it?
Yeah. Okay. So every 3 months, I get over this wonderful bioresonance doctor from Greece, who's one of the world's leading experts in electromagnetic therapies.
Right.
And he has a professional medically diagnostic scanner, sort of scanner that could be used in hospitals or clinics. And the scan has the ability to detect, through using a probe against the finger, what's going on in the body. And it gives a several-page, quite comprehensive readout of everything from stress levels to nervous system functioning and overload, to toxins, to organ function, to pathogens, all those viruses and molds and heavy metals and things that may or may not have taken residence within us. It will show sensitivities, allergies, glandular function, geopathic stress, radiation levels, household toxins, a whole range of things. And what that enables Dr. Yanis, the bioresonance doctor, to do is to tailor make programs specific to each individual person. So the bioresonance devices we use, which are portable devices, have 2,500 programs on them for the layperson to use.
Mm.
But Dr. Yanis can also tailor-make programs that might consist of 10 or 15 smaller programs all strung together into one long automatic one that he can upload onto the devices. And then, depending on what the individual has come with, what their condition is, or what the things are they're wanting to improve, he will make programs for 2 devices. The first device is the detox device, which metaphorically weeds the garden, takes the toxins and parasites, etc., out of your body, because you can't better your health if you've got all those pathogens floating around.
Yes.
But you don't want to just weed the garden, you want to grow some beautiful flowers. So the other device that he will make programs for is a device, it's called the rhythm device, that literally recalibrates the healthy rhythms of your body. So it strengthens, it rejuvenates, it restores the healthy functioning of your organs and your cells. And when you've got those 2 pieces of work happening, the weeding and the growing, then you've got the best possible opportunity to improve your health, your stress levels, your immunity levels, etc. Because the idea here is not that we are curing the illness, it's that we're supporting the body to cure the illness. We're strengthening the immune system by getting rid of the interferences. We're strengthening ourselves through reducing stress, through harmonizing the mind, through supporting our organs and cells. And when we've done that for enough weeks or months, the body can continue that itself. So
amazing. Fantastic. So a person can come in and have this scan done. And as you said, Dr. Giannis is a specialist in this. He's been doing it for what, is it 30 years or plus?
Many years, I don't know exactly, but he's a mainstream doctor, he's a homeopath, he's a naturopath, and he spent decades studying bioresonance and traveling the world, working with people in clinics and in all sorts of different situations, training people, lecturing, and as I say, working with clients using this medically diagnostic scanner and his expertise in finding exactly the programs that people need to play on the bioresonance devices.
Okay, and what is the background of the scanner? You say it's a medically sort of a medical device. It's used in hospitals and stuff. Where does it originate from? What's the background of that?
So my understanding, I hope I'm saying the right things, is that this was originally developed in Russia. And was used by doctors, or developed by doctors for doctors, and has been used in hospitals and clinics in various countries around the world.
Yes.
And is just hugely effective. It's working with bioresonance frequencies and with measuring resistance. But as I actually don't use this scanner myself, because you have to have some medical background to be able to use it and to make programs, there's not a huge amount I can say about it other than it's incredibly accurate. Dr. Yanis told me that only twice in his career of using it did he diagnose something not 100% accurately. So that's twice in years, seeing thousands and thousands of clients. So it's quite an amazing piece of kit for medical practitioners to work with.
No, fantastic. So a patient, a prospective patient, could come in and have this scanned with Dr. Giannis. And how long is the scan?
So the scan itself takes 10-15 minutes, around that. The appointment is an hour, so that there's time to obviously talk beforehand, have the scan, and then spend some time going through the scan and looking at the implications and the way forwards.
Fantastic. So they'll sort of obviously meet Dr. Giannis, they'll have the scan, and Dr. Giannis then will sort of go through the findings with them, explain everything to them, and then they have the opportunity to sort of go various sort of treatment routes where they can actually sort of get one of the devices and utilize that, when Dr. Giannis will actually put in the frequency specific to them sort of there and then, yeah?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, some people come and they have a scan just because they're interested to get a rain check, if you like, of what's inside them. But so many people come because they do have issues, or they want to change something. And then, yes, you would need to buy, ideally, 2 bioresonance devices, the detox one and the restorative one. Failing that, to start with the detox one is usually the best way to go.
Fantastic.
If people can't afford that, there are other products that can also help, such as supportive tonics that the company make, the hydrogen water bottle, which has a lot of health giving effects, and they have some little frequency pendants, which that's the one, frequency pendants, which are another cheaper option that can support different parts of the body. But Dr. Yanis's expertise is really in making the programs for the devices. So if somebody does have a definite issue they want to work with, it's definitely worth buying those devices. And you can use them then not just with the programs that he makes for you, but if you have a cold or a cough or something comes up, you wake up with a headache or hay fever, you can always whip on the programs to work with that in the short term, or use them for another family member if you have a child who wakes up with tummy ache or something like that.
Fantastic. So the scan is really for anybody from healthy people who just want to have a check over, a health check, to people who may have some condition which that they want just another approach at how they could perhaps sort of help themselves, to help it to heal, rather than just going sort of the conventional way. So Dr. Yanis, you say comes sort of every 3 months, and I believe he's coming shortly.
Yes, he's coming at the beginning of July, 2nd to the 4th of July in Bedford, the 5th to the 11th in Sussex. Then he'll be back 20th of September, and he'll be back 29th of November, and then it will be March, June, September, December each year.
Yeah, so every sort of 3 months or so. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So there we go. So hopefully we've given you some information about bioresonance. Delia, that was amazing. I mean, it's helped me understand a little bit more about sort of what bioresonance is. It seems to be sort of an incredible way of sort of helping the body in a more natural way. And as you say, without sort of any of the horrendous side effects that obviously sometimes, conventional sort of treatment can potentially sort of give you. So thank you very much. So if you want to get in contact with us and just find out more about how you could potentially have a scan, what we're going to do is below sort of this video, you're going to find details for Delia and myself, and just get in contact with us. If you have any more questions, we're very, very happy to help, and just obviously sort of help you understand how potentially, bioresonance could help you regain your health, or just have a checkup and see how your health is. We absolutely are sort of proponents of it. We think it's great. I mean, personally, we've both felt the difference, which is why we're sharing this with you. And we would love to give you and for you to take the opportunity to have a go yourselves. So Delia, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. All right. And as I say, Delia's details are down below, as are mine. And if you want any more information, do contact us, and we look forward to helping you on your health journey. Delia, again, thank you so much.
Thank you. That's great.
Appreciate it.